when it comes to us listening to God, I think our tendency is to read more or to do things more. Read the Bible more, serve more, pray more, attend church more. And those are all great and incredible things. But the thing that I really want to encourage you is this. My name is RJ. I am the other new person here on staff. So if you see me around, please come and say hi. If you call me Josh, that's okay. And even if you call me JR, that's totally fine too. But in just 50 days, I got married, went on my honeymoon, came up to Livermore to find a place, came back down to my house, went back to Livermore to move to Livermore, and then started working here at Crosswinds. Yes, I like to move a little slow. And the reason why I took things so slow was because I was so eager and so excited to be up here, to be pastoring, and just to meet all of you. However, when I got here, that washed away pretty quickly because this thing started to take place, and you may know of it as homesickness. You see, despite what so many people told me, what I realized when I got up here is that Livermore is pretty far away from Orange County. 6 hours or so is what they told me, but it's really like 8. But the other thing that I also realized was I was going to be going for the first 50 days or so, just this emotional toll of ebbs and flows of just homesickness and just how it consumed my body. You see, it started off pretty small, where just had just longings and missings of just different people, different friends and family. So I just text them, I give them a call, I go on social media, go on group messages, just look at different pictures. But then it grew much worse. It started to consume me, where I would see those same pictures, I would get those same text messages, and it just started to hurt more and more. And eventually I could just feel myself get more gloomy, to even the point where I even started to question whether or not I should be up here, whether or not I moved up here so quickly. And so knowing that and just kind of experiencing those feelings, I felt like I needed to do something different. I needed to act fast because being in that just was not the most ideal. So I thought to myself, just different solutions. So the first one I thought of was, well, maybe I should just text my friends and family more often. Maybe I should FaceTime them, do things like that. But I had already been doing that, so that wasn't quite going anywhere. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just ignore them. Just say, hey, thanks for the memories. We'll see you when I see you. But I also didn't want to do that as well. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just dive into work more and just kind of make that my own distraction. But as I started to do that, I could just think of just times where I would just drift away and just think of those friends and family back home. So I tried these different things, and then finally I go to God and I pray, God, I'm dealing with this homesickness. I am feeling it. Just help me out here. And it was at that moment when I thought of, during the Frequency series, our guest speaker, Richard. And one of the things that he was talking about, or really the main thing he was teaching on, was just the different barriers we have when it comes to listening. And he had this antidote that really stood out to me, and the solution, which was intentional slowing. In other words, to be paused and to be still, to let God speak. So when I heard that, I thought to myself, well, I tried this and I've tried that with homesickness, so I might as well give this a shot and just see how things go. And so for me, when I think of pausing, right, it's much differently than the way Richard probably would have encouraged. Because for me, when I typically pause, it's after church, I plop myself on the couch, I turn on the TV, and I scream at football as my fantasy team is probably losing. But I knew, like I said, it had to be different. So I found some time during the day by myself, and I just said, God, I'm going to be still. I'm going to pause. I'm going to allow for you to speak into this homesickness. And it was then that I recalled a memory where a year ago, my wife and I were in a similar room like this, and we were thinking about just us getting married and just everything that's going to be ahead of us. And we said a prayer, that the prayer was just looking for us as far as just having a new church. And specifically, it was just trying to find a new community where we were going to make meaningful connections. where we were going to grow in our relationship with one another as well as with God, and that we were going to be at a place that we felt called to be. And as soon as I thought of that memory, I thought of just small but impactful things that have happened since coming up to Livermore, where truly God has just been answering our prayers. Whether it's just meeting new people, whether it's just getting to know just all of you on Sunday mornings. As I thought of these small instances, it was just truly impactful of just these different prayers that have been answered. And the icing on the cake, if you will, was thinking of one other thing that happened. Some of the women here at Crosswinds decided to throw a welcome party for my wife. And they didn't just throw a welcome party and just say, hey, see you later. No, they thought of just intentional things. And one of the things that they did was they gave her thoughtful gifts that she, as well as myself, got to enjoy. And even though for them, it was just this small gesture of just throwing a party, what it really was for my wife and myself was an answered prayer. And I believe that when it comes to us listening to God, I think our tendency is to read more or to do things more. Read the Bible more, serve more, pray more, attend church more. And those are all great and incredible things. But the thing that I really want to encourage you is this, is that maybe in this moment for listening, it's just calling us to be still, to pause and to see how God is speaking. Because it was in my stillness that I've got to see just how God has been answering our prayers over the last year. That whether it was that party that was thrown for my wife or just other instances, that God had never left. And it was because of that I was able to see it. And the reason why I was able to see it was because I took a second to pause in this incredibly busy season to listen to how God has been here all along.